This week's blog is going to focus on chapter 10, which talked about hip hop music and culture, and chapter 11, which talked about like media representation for the black community. This first chapter that I'm going to talk about today is chapter 10, and that talked about hip hop. And through it, they broke down four different waves of hip hop. And the first one was disco hip hop from like the 70s to the early mid 80s. And that really exemplified a lot of culture. Like there were break dancers, DJs started to use turntables, and a really cool show that sadly got canceled that really exemplified this really well was the Get Down. And that took place in sometime in the 80s, I think. And you just see dancers, them trying to rap and stuff like that. Like that show's really cool. And then the second era was was the first golden era from around 83 to 90, 1990. And this one more so focused on like young street rappers. It became more commercial, and something that I know is that MC Hammer won 3 Grammys in 1990. That was really big, even though he isn't like, I don't know. He seems very commercial, especially now looking back on it, but just overall, he had to be really important to the culture. Touch This is even a song that we like think about today. And so for that second wave, it saw NWA, Ice T, MC Hammer, so many different groups. Oh, sorry. And Salt and Pepper, had to add them in on that. And then the next wave, which is the third one, was the second golden era from like the late 80s to the mid 90s. And so this really saw an emergence of like labels. And so you could think about like Death Row, Bad Boy, um, and all the artists that were on them, even the South. And I think the South more so had like independent artists like Outkast, um, the Ghetto Boys, different groups like that. And this really saw dominance on gangster culture more than past generations. And the last one, the book kind of simplified this because I feel like they just kind of clumped everyone together. But they said from 90s until now is like the bling bling era where people mostly talk about like money and flashy things like that. But present day hip hop has so many different personalities and so different types. Like Uzi is completely different from, let's say, from like 21 Savage or someone like that. I'm trying to think of somebody better. Like everybody has very distinct waves and stuff like that. And I don't think everybody for hip hop could be categorized into one. Kind of break down those four waves. I feel like hip hop started off in a good place and with time has just digressed a little bit. So it started off with people just having fun on the mic and doing stuff like that, to go to exemplifying people's circumstances and trying to find a way to get out of it. And then further talking and glorifying different issues that are actually in the community instead of trying to like exemplify them and solve them. And present day, I feel like we just all over the place. Like we have some people that are positive rappers, some people that are still gangster rappers. Not that there's a good balance, because I definitely feel like there's definitely more nonsense, but at least we have a few people like J. Cole, Kendrick that talk about different social issues. Thing that really stood out to me this week was in chapter 11, and it was the content that talked about media use and black women's body image. And basically it spoke on how compared to like white counterparts, when we're shown ideal beauty, we're a little bit more resistant to it because we usually see white images as the basis of beauty. So we more so look into like self-image and self-confidence. So with this, one thing that was really interesting to me is that I think everybody has their people. Every group has someone that kind of struggles with body image, and specifically when it comes down to everyone, not just black people, everyone currently wants like a bigger butt. And that's not just for celebrities. Celebrities might have heightened it, but everyday people have butt shots and butt lifts and different stuff like that. So I think that we are more resilient when it comes down to just seeing white standards, but we still have our ideal images for black people. Reel that in. I was just talking about like media image, and especially in like music for women, everybody has a butt right now. Everybody is like thick. You won't see really any skinny people in music videos anymore. So we could think about Nicki, we could think about Iggy, J Lo, different people like that. Like I feel like butts are really heightened currently. Into this, I feel as if there were more positive representation of Black people in media right now, we would have more things to look up to. I'm not watching Love and Hip Hop and feeling like, oh my god, I want to be like them. Maybe certain people will, but even when it comes to like billboards or just different pictures, most of the time it's white people. And I'm for the most part, I believe that Black people don't align themselves with those ideal beauties. That I'm going to talk about today is Black Panther, which came out a few weeks ago. And this movie is really important to our community because it's allowing a full Black cast to get paid, number one. Number two, it's allowing representation and allowing us to actually go out and show our buying power at the box office and stuff like that. And just allowing different people, not only children, to actually see themselves in movies with great representations. And I'm a personal lover of hood movies, but at some point you get tired of seeing people die and tired of seeing people in bad situations. To see, like, I don't know, to see kings and queens and even the woman warriors, I just think that movie was really beautiful. And I don't know, it was just really powerful for the Black community. Great representation of the Black community.